What's up, traders? 3 total trades today, ended up a red day. Let's get to it. PDD right off the scanner. This thing's got a pretty big float. Looking for it to double top at this 105 area. It's pretty good squeeze here already. Like to see this through 105. Here we go. There we go. Looks like it's trying to fake out above these highs from yesterday. Just watching it, feeling the jiggle here. Still trying to go higher. Jiggling a little right here. We're going to get started. Actually got 32. The bid dropped down on us. It's all right. I mean, we're talking pretty big moves here. Put the take profit out there at 104.32. It's actually less than half the move, so we should be okay. Just looking for it to come back down into this range. Looking for this to kind of be a double top. Actually more of like a quadruple top if you look at the 3 times it tried yesterday. Coming down. If we can get this 105 break, might actually get it pretty quickly. I'm thinking about putting 75% in here. Let's go ahead and put 75% in. Enter. So now, if it wants to continue here, we'll obviously take that away. But I thought it was looking like it wanted to come back down, and we had plenty of room to view up. Yeah, I'm going to cancel that. Look at that 9 just jump up. We're going to go ahead and just put the take profit back in there for the full amount. Just trying to move higher here. Oh, man. Take a look at this thing. Decided to squeeze a little bit more. Still okay here. This actually isn't a bad thing, right? It's all still the same move. Man. Up through, what would our stop? 109, 109.32. It's not even, man. All right. Coming right up to our max loss here. FTCH definitely jiggling here. We're going to use 75 cents. We're actually just going to risk high of day here if we get in. Yeah, we're going to start at 31. We're just going to put the stop at high. Kind of feels like a top tier, but not really liking the volume there. PDD, we got our stop in. Really kind of, this is the one downfall of our strat on PDD is if it squeezes with just one entry, basically to where our max loss is, there isn't much we can do about it. We just kind of have to wait and hope. I mean, the only thing that you could do is when it's coming down, we could try to hit the backside, but that's going to bring our max loss down, possibly below high of day, which is obviously not what we want to do, because if it goes up to high of day, retest kind of thing, and fails, we still want to be in play for that. So it's really hard to get an ad on something like PDD where it just goes straight to your max loss pretty much. It's a tough situation to be in. It's something to really think about with the overall strat. And I've thought about it before, and the only way around it really is to give yourself a little bit of a grace like zone. Sorry, hold on, watching FTCH here. If we can get this 44 break, most likely going to get a nice little squeeze down. There it is. 82. See if we can get down, test 50. Just looking for the flush down to test 43.50. But yeah, what I was saying is with PDD, what you could do is knowing, oh, there we go, 64. All right, and we got our fill there. Okay, nice FTCH. So with PDD, again, we would have to basically give ourselves that little bit of extra like room. So like we have the $40 max loss, but in a case like this where if we could have got to add and just make it $50 instead of $40 in this instance, you basically add just a little bit because you know it'll give you such a higher percentage chance to win the trade overall. That would be such an advantage versus just completely 100% always sticking to the $40 max loss. And it's something I've thought about before. I'm just not sure if I want to implement that, because then you start getting into sketchy territory. You know, well, I want to add, but I have to ignore my max loss, and then what's the point of having a max loss if you're not using the max loss, kind of thing. So that's kind of where I stand with that. It's something to definitely think about. But we're definitely working on, man. FTCH just absolutely blew through that, huh? That would have been nice to hold on to some. I was going to scale out a PDD, and I think I kind of talked myself out of scaling FTCH just because of what PDD did. So it's another emotion that I need to fight sometimes, is letting other trades control other trades. Man, PDD getting ready to stop us out. Went through high day again. It's looking like, yep, we're on the ask. There it is. Oh, what's going on? Come on, don't do that. It's not giving us the order. Okay, there it goes. All right, so stopped out of PDD, went high of day. Just couldn't break down through that 107 area, which, I mean, can't really fault it, right? It was about pretty close to half the move. So, well, not really, but I'd still say where our average was if you scroll in here. Yeah, it didn't really come down that much, to be honest. Just kind of a crap ending to a crap entry. I'm going to start. Oh, I got to go down with that. See if it was a good. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm going to start this. It's got the same entry, 108.81. Just going to risk high of day. Less than 0.33, actually almost about 0.25 of a max loss here, but looking for much more. Looking for at least 2 to 1 on the current size here. There we go. Got a nice little break. It was kind of how many times you see this happen where we top tick a stock and then it comes right back down? And it's almost like the market makers know that everyone's stop loss is sitting right there above high of day. And unfortunately, ours was actually a decent amount above high of day, but it went through and squeezed and pretty much got us. And that was a little unfortunate. But looking to maybe capitalize on some of this coming back down, at least to that 107 area, see if we can maybe actually break through it and get a move down towards VWAP. So we're trying this area again. There we go. We're actually through it. It's already a big move down, though. Was hoping to get VWAP, but I didn't think it was going to happen this fast. Probably going to end up taking all of it here once it decides to try to bounce. Let's try 106.50. If we can get through 106.50, I think we're going to flush right to VWAP. Trying again. It's holding here. Yeah, we're going to take it. We're going to take it all there. That was clearly a hold. It was trying to form some support there. As you can see, it's bouncing. So got a decent amount back there on PDD. Can't be too upset for recognizing what was going on there with the fake out breakout up at the highs. Unfortunately, we basically top ticked our exit, but is what it is. Would have been nice if we had our stop a little bit higher, but we didn't. So it's the sad reality of this trade. All right, traders, that was my 3 trades, 2 on PDD, 1 on FTCH. We'll start here on FTCH. This was pretty simple, right? Right off the scanner, just had a nice little squeeze. Ended up feeling the top through the whole $1.44. Actually squeezed a little bit more up through 44.50, or actually it was already up through 44.50. I'm sorry. We actually hit this one on the backside, just risking high of day. Put our take profit out, looking for about half the move, and that was exactly what we got. It unfortunately went a lot lower than that. It went all the way down under 42. Could have been a pretty decent winner if we could have held on to some more of that, but we didn't. So up to PDD, let me put that up here. Don't have it up currently. You can see this thing is just a beast after we actually got out, so it was a pretty good exit on our part. But if we scroll out, you'll see we had those highs from yesterday. That's kind of what we were using for our entry. There was a pretty decent squeeze off the bottom here right to that point. Kind of felt like it was topping. We got started and it just said, no, we're not done yet. And this thing just absolutely squeezed through that area. Never really came down. If we want to draw the fibs out here real quick, you'll see that. We'll even use the top here, the bottom there. See, the 50% line was all the way down here at 104.75, which is actually pretty close to where our take profit was. And this thing never even got down to the 38.2 line. You know, a lot of people always say if it bounces off the 38.2, it's probably going to go higher. Well, it never even got that low. So this thing decided it wanted to be pretty strong. Unfortunately, like I described in the live trade, there's a lot of thinking to be done as far as when we enter a stock and it basically goes right to our max loss without stopping us out. We actually had another trade just like this last week, and I can't remember the ticker symbol for some reason, but if we would have been able to add after we realized that this might have been a fake out, it could have been a much smaller loss. There's a lot of possibilities that could come into play if we could get an add there and maybe just realize, you know, we're risking a high of day at that point. But the reason that we can't hit an add, say on this candle here, is because say our stop loss was at 109.30. It was like 109.32, I think. What did we get filled at? We got filled at 109.50, but I think it was at 109.32. So there's some slippage in there. But if we get an add here, that's going to bring our stop loss down, and most likely it's going to bring it down below where the current high of day is. So let's say, for instance, this green candle comes up, tries to do like a little sloppy seconds type deal, bouncy ball effect, and doesn't quite get to high of day, but our stop is below high of day and it touches it, right? That's the issue with having the perma max loss at the set dollar amount. Now, I 100% agree you need to have a max loss. You need to have that in place. But I'm starting to think the more and more consistent I get, is it beneficial to have that stop max there in case something like this does happen on PDD where it just continues? Like if it continues and goes straight up through my max loss, is that okay? Yes, right? That's the strat. If you were early, you were early, you accept the max loss and you look for a better entry. But if it goes up to where it misses our stop max and it starts to, you know, do its thing where it consolidates, and after an extended move, you're looking for it to move back down, you know, looking for, say, 50% of the move, would an add on what you think is the backside and accepting just a tad more risk, say $50, $55 instead of 40, would that be appropriate, right? You're accepting a little bit more risk, but you're in a high probability trade, especially more so if you thought it was extended here and it goes up almost to where your max loss would be, but doesn't quite get you, then obviously you're going to think it's pretty extended at that point. So the odds of you getting at least back to your average, if you can split the difference there, is probably pretty good, right? This didn't even get back to the 38.2 on the fibs, right? Where if you take here and an entry somewhere in here, halfway would have been somewhere right around, you know, like this area, or 106.37, which is about where it got after this move, obviously. This example doesn't work because it did go high of day, because once you get that add, you're going to be using high of day as a stop anyway. It has to be a hard stop at that point. But what I'm getting at is you're in a high probability trade to where that could come down and be a winner instead of it ended up being a max loss loser. So it's something to think about. It's theorizing. It's kind of just thinking, right? It's thinking out loud. We're not looking to tinker per se, but we found a weakness in our strat and we're trying to see if we can make it less of a weakness is all we're getting at. And it's something that rarely happens. It happened 2 times in the last like 4 trading days. I have to go look, but I feel like this is rarely going to happen where you get such an early entry. Not only is it early, but it goes right up to where your max loss just happens to be. It's not a technical level or anything. It's just a set dollar amount where your max loss is a cutoff. And it just so happens that it stops right before it. And if you remember the ticker last week, it went to the penny. I think it was Twitter. Was it Twitter? Maybe. I don't know. But it went to the penny. And in this case, it was about, what, 50, 60 cents. But again, that's close enough to where you can't add to the position without it bringing your stop below the current high of day. And if you're trying to be a little bit technical, it's hard because you don't want to go below high of day. You want to give it that opportunity to use high of day as a solid resistance area. So you see these all the time where they fake out through high of day. You know, that's stop hunting, market makers doing their job kind of thing. And that was kind of what we capitalized on over here after we got stopped out. We realized that's what was happening. Basically happened over here again. You could almost argue that this would have been a better spot to look for that ad that I was talking about. Once it tried to go up here on this green candle, it tried to break high of day. Didn't even get through 109. If we wanted to look for an ad in that scenario that I'm giving you where we could raise our max loss just a little bit so that we could now use this as high of day as a stop, then that would have made a lot more sense versus over here in that example I was trying to give. So maybe this is something to talk about on Friday Night Livestream when we get there. I'm not going to be changing anything throughout the week. I'm not looking to change anything at all because, again, this is something that rarely happens. It's just something that I'm taking notes on. It's something I'm putting in my journal because obviously it's something that happens, and it can happen a few times, back to back for, every once in a while, as you guys saw last week and today. So we ended up, and as you guys see, I didn't even talk about this trade, but again, in the live trade you saw, I just jumped in for the fake out breakout, and as this thing was coming back down, it tried to get back below this key support area 107. I was looking for VWAP, but it didn't quite get there. You could feel it form in that support at 106.50, which I think it actually hit exactly. No, it says it got the 106.17. I don't remember seeing that at all, but it ended up coming all the way back up, and as you see, this thing's just been a beast the rest of the day. So not gonna complain. We're down about 0.33 Q for the day. Just gonna, we were down max loss at one point, so can't complain about that at all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.